Gang stalking, often reported by individuals as being a form of organized harassment, is a topic with deep and troubling layers. Victims describe being subjected to ongoing coordinated surveillance and harassment intended to undermine their mental health, social relationships, and even careers.
All right, y'all, let's dive into the wild world of gang stalking. Ever heard of it? It's a term that's been floating around the internet for a while now, and it's got quite a few people scratching their heads. Essentially, gang stalking is when individuals claim they are being followed, harassed, and spied on by a group of mysterious perpetrators. These perpetrators, often referred to as perps, are said to engage in a variety of tactics designed to make the target feel paranoid and distressed. It's where people claim they're being followed, harassed, and spied on by a group of mysterious perps. Imagine walking down the street and feeling like someone is always watching you, or getting the sense that your every move is being monitored. It's a chilling thought, right? But for those who believe they are victims of gang stalking, this is their reality. Now I know what you're thinking. Sounds like the plot of a B-movie thriller, right? It's the kind of storyline you'd expect to see in a late-night TV movie, complete with dramatic music and over-the-top acting. But for some, this isn't just fiction. It's a daily struggle that affects their mental and emotional well-being. But hold on to your hats, because it gets even weirder. The tactics these so-called perps use are often straight out of high school. We're talking about petty annoyances and juvenile pranks that seem more fitting for a teenage drama than a sophisticated harassment campaign. These so-called perps use tactics that are straight out of high school. Think about the kind of pranks you might have seen or experienced in your teenage years. Things like moving someone's belongings around to confuse them, leaving strange notes, or even standing uncomfortably close to someone in line just to make them feel uneasy. We're talking petty annoyances, like moving stuff around to confuse you, leaving weird messages, and generally just trying to get under your skin. It's like they're playing a never-ending game of psychological warfare, but with tactics that are more annoying than truly threatening, or even standing way too close in line at the grocery store. You know that feeling when someone invades your personal space and it just makes your skin crawl? That's the kind of discomfort these perps are aiming for. Yeah, real sophisticated spy stuff, huh? It's almost laughable when you think about it. These tactics are more likely to make you roll your eyes than to genuinely scare you. Now let's get serious for a sec. While it's easy to dismiss these tactics as childish, the impact on those who believe they are being targeted can be very real. The constant feeling of being watched and harassed can take a serious toll on a person's mental health. Some folks caught up in this do experience real psychological distress. The anxiety and paranoia that come with feeling like you're constantly under surveillance can be overwhelming. It's not just about the physical actions of the perps. It's about the mental and emotional strain that comes with it. It's a mix of reality, paranoia, and some deep-seated fears. For those who believe they are being gang-stalked, it can be incredibly difficult to separate what's real from what's imagined. The lines between reality and paranoia become blurred, making it hard to know what to trust. Hard to separate the truth from the mind games, you know? It's like being caught in a never-ending chess match where every move is designed to mess with your head. The constant second-guessing and self-doubt can be exhausting. But when you break down these so-called strategies, it's clear these perps are just playing spy games. Juvenile and kind of sad, if you ask me. They're not masterminds, they're just people who get a kick out of making others feel uncomfortable. These masterminds? Not so much. They're more like insecure folks who never quite outgrew their high school bully phase. They thrive on the power they think they have over their targets, but in reality, their tactics are pretty pathetic. More like insecure folks who get a kick out of thinking they got power over someone. It's a sad attempt to feel important and in control, but it's really just a reflection of their own insecurities.
The nightmare of inner thought surveillance, assault, torture, and the end of freedom. Imagine a world where your thoughts aren't just your own, but are up for grabs by anyone with the right tech. Now let's look at the serious implications of this invasion of privacy. Buckle up.
In today's digital age, the sanctity of our private thoughts is under unprecedented threat. With the advent of advanced surveillance technologies and data mining techniques, our innermost reflections are no longer safe. Imagine a world where every fleeting thought, every private musing, is up for grabs by corporations, governments, and malicious entities. This is not a dystopian future. It's a present reality we must confront. As we navigate through this era of constant connectivity, it's crucial to understand the implications of our digital footprints. Every click, every search, every online interaction leaves a trace that can be analyzed, interpreted, and potentially exploited. The boundaries between public and private are blurring, and our thoughts, once considered the last bastion of privacy, are now vulnerable. But there is hope. By becoming aware of these threats and taking proactive measures, we can reclaim our mental privacy. Encryption, secure communication channels, and mindful online behavior are just a few steps we can take to protect our thoughts. It's time to stand up and assert that our minds are not for sale. Our thoughts are our own, and they should remain that way. Join us as we delve deeper into the invasion of privacy and explore ways to safeguard our most intimate reflections. In the good old days, privacy meant more than just having a lock on your door. It was a time when personal boundaries were respected and the sanctity of one's home was inviolable. People cherished their private moments, and the idea of someone intruding into their personal space was unthinkable. The vintage locks symbolized more than just physical security. They represented a deeper sense of trust and respect within the community. In those days, the serene home settings in a vintage house were a testament to a simpler, more private way of life. The old-fashioned door with its sturdy lock was a barrier against the outside world, a guardian of the intimate moments shared within. The peaceful vintage living room, with its cozy furnishings and warm ambiance, was a sanctuary where families could connect without fear of prying eyes or ears. Privacy was not just a physical concept, but a cultural value deeply ingrained in society. It was understood that what happened behind closed doors was no one's business but your own. This respect for personal space extended beyond the home, permeating social interactions and public life. People knew where to draw the line, and there was an unspoken agreement to honor each other's privacy. As technology advanced, the notion of privacy began to evolve. The introduction of telephones, for instance, brought new challenges to maintaining personal boundaries. Yet even then there was a level of discretion and respect that governed their use. Conversations were private, and eavesdropping was considered a serious breach of etiquette. Fast forward to the digital age, and the landscape of privacy has changed dramatically. The once clear boundaries have become blurred, and the sanctity of personal space is constantly under threat. The vintage locks and serene home settings of the past seem like relics of a bygone era, replaced by digital locks and virtual spaces that are far more vulnerable to intrusion. Today, the concept of privacy is more complex and multifaceted. It encompasses not just physical security, but also data protection, online anonymity, and the right to control one's personal information. The peaceful vintage living room has given way to smart homes equipped with devices that can monitor and record our every move. The old-fashioned door with its simple lock has been replaced by sophisticated security systems that, while offering greater protection, also pose new risks to our privacy. In this new reality, the challenge is to find a balance between embracing technological advancements and safeguarding our personal space. The lessons from the good old days of privacy remind us of the importance of setting boundaries and respecting each other's right to privacy. As we navigate this digital age, we must strive to uphold these values and ensure that our thoughts and personal moments remain our own, not up for grabs. You have the right to your own thoughts. But if some unscrupulous individual or rogue government agency had the ability to read or monitor your inner mind, say goodbye to that. Imagine a world where every fleeting thought, every private musing, and every personal reflection could be accessed and scrutinized by external forces. The sanctity of your mental space would be shattered, leaving you vulnerable and exposed. This invasion of privacy would not only strip away your sense of security, but also undermine the very essence of your individuality. Your thoughts are a fundamental part of who you are, shaping your beliefs, decisions, and actions. Protecting the privacy of your mind is crucial in maintaining your autonomy and freedom. Imagine you're just trying to quietly enjoy your morning coffee, but instead someone's tuning into your brain like it's Netflix. Now let's delve deeper into this unsettling scenario. Picture yourself in the comfort of your own home, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee filling the air. You take a sip, savoring the warmth and flavor, feeling a sense of peace and tranquility. But unbeknownst to you, there's an invisible intruder, silently accessing your most private thoughts and feelings. This isn't some far-fetched science fiction plot. It's a potential reality in our increasingly connected world. As you sit in your favorite cafe, the hustle and bustle around you fades into the background. You're lost in your thoughts, perhaps planning your day or reflecting on a recent conversation. But what if, in that very moment, someone could tap into your mind, extracting your innermost secrets without your consent? The idea is chilling, yet it's a possibility we must confront as technology continues to advance at a rapid pace. Consider the implications of such an invasion. Your thoughts, once private and personal, are now exposed to external scrutiny. Every fleeting idea, every unspoken fear, every cherished memory, all laid bare for someone else to see. The sanctity of your mind, a place where you should feel safe and secure, is violated. This intrusion goes beyond mere privacy concerns. It strikes at the very core of our autonomy and individuality. Imagine the consequences in various aspects of your life. In your professional sphere, your innovative ideas and strategic plans could be stolen, giving competitors an unfair advantage. In your personal relationships, your deepest emotions and vulnerabilities could be exploited, leading to manipulation and betrayal. Even your casual thoughts, those random musings that flit through your mind, could be used to profile and predict your behavior, stripping away your sense of self-determination. The potential for misuse is vast and alarming. Governments could employ such technology for surveillance, monitoring citizens' thoughts and dissent. Corporations might exploit it for targeted advertising, bombarding you with products and services tailored to your subconscious desires. Criminals could harness it for nefarious purposes, blackmailing individuals with their own private thoughts. The ethical and moral ramifications are profound, raising questions about consent, autonomy, and the very nature of human identity. As we navigate this brave new world, it's crucial to establish safeguards and regulations to protect our mental privacy. We must advocate for policies that prioritize the sanctity of our thoughts, ensuring that our minds remain a sanctuary free from external intrusion. Public awareness and discourse are essential in shaping the future of this technology, guiding its development in a way that respects and upholds our fundamental rights. In conclusion, the prospect of someone tuning into your brain like it's Netflix is not just a hypothetical scenario. It's a pressing issue that demands our attention. As we sip our morning coffee, let's remain vigilant and proactive in safeguarding our mental privacy, ensuring that our thoughts remain our own, untouched and untouchable. The Fourth Amendment protects us from unreasonable searches and seizures. It is a crucial part of the Bill of Rights, ensuring that our privacy is respected and that the government cannot intrude into our personal lives without just cause. This amendment requires law enforcement to obtain a warrant supported by probable cause before conducting any search or seizure. The warrant must be specific, detailing the place to be searched and the items to be seized. This legal safeguard is designed to prevent arbitrary and invasive actions by the state, protecting citizens from unwarranted intrusions. The Fourth Amendment is a cornerstone of American civil liberties, reflecting the nation's commitment to individual privacy and freedom. It serves as a powerful reminder that our thoughts, homes, and personal effects are not up for grabs. Understanding and exercising our Fourth Amendment rights is essential in maintaining our privacy and ensuring that our freedoms are not eroded. In today's digital age, where surveillance and data collection are rampant, the principles enshrined in the Fourth Amendment are more relevant than ever. But here's the catch. If your thoughts, feelings, and even breathing patterns are being monitored, that's no longer just an invasion of privacy. It's a full-scale assault on your mental autonomy. That's psychological assault. It's not just an invasion of privacy. It's a direct attack on the mind. Imagine your innermost thoughts being manipulated, your emotions twisted. This isn't science fiction. It's a real threat. We must protect our mental sanctity. The consequences are severe, leading to anxiety, depression, and a loss of self. Awareness is the first step. Stand up, speak out, and safeguard your mental space. Don't let anyone invade your mind. Your thoughts are your own. Thought suppression, the chilling effect on free expression. Remember the First Amendment? It's one of the most important parts of the U.S. Constitution, a cornerstone of American democracy. It's the one that guarantees you can think freely and express your opinions without fearing consequences. This fundamental right allows people to gather, protest, and voice their concerns on various issues, from social justice to political reforms. This would imply that you are free to think about what you want to think about, and free to not have your thoughts controlled or interrupted maliciously. Imagine sitting alone, reflecting on your day, or jotting down your thoughts in a journal. These simple acts are protected under the First Amendment. The freedom to think and express oneself is crucial for personal development and societal progress. When this freedom is compromised, it can lead to a sense of mental confinement or even imprisonment. where individuals feel trapped by their inability to express their true thoughts and feelings. Throughout history, the First Amendment has played a pivotal role in various movements and revolutions. From the civil rights movement to women's suffrage, the ability to speak out and challenge the status quo has led to significant changes and advancements in society. In educational settings, the First Amendment encourages open dialogue and the exchange of ideas. Students and teachers alike benefit from an environment where diverse perspectives are welcomed and debated. This not only enhances learning, but also fosters critical thinking and innovation. In today's digital age, the First Amendment extends to online platforms where people from all over the world can share their thoughts and opinions. Social media has become a powerful tool for activism, awareness, and community building. So the next time you see a protest, read a thought-provoking article, or engage in a meaningful conversation, remember the First Amendment. It's the foundation that allows us to think, speak, and act freely, shaping the world we live in today and for future generations. Imagine a world where every thought you have is immediately broadcasted to everyone around you. This would clearly not be a freedom of thought. The very essence of our humanity lies in our ability to think privately, to reflect, and to choose when and how to express our thoughts. Having your thoughts forced to instant expression will quickly become inhumane. Consider the moments when you need to process your emotions, to understand your feelings before sharing them. These moments are crucial for personal growth and mental well-being. Without the ability to control our own expressions, we lose a fundamental part of our identity. The freedom to think and express ourselves at our own pace is what makes us human. It allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, to share our true selves when we are ready. Forced expression strips away this freedom, leaving us vulnerable and exposed. In such a world, fear and anxiety would dominate our lives. The constant pressure to reveal our innermost thoughts would create an environment of stress and control. This is not the path to a free and open society. Now imagine being in a world where every time you think something that goes against the grain, you're punished for it. A world where your innermost thoughts are not your own, but are constantly monitored, scrutinized, and judged by an omnipresent authority. This is a place where freedom of thought is a distant memory, and conformity is the only way to survive. Picture a society where the mere act of thinking differently is a crime, and the consequences are severe. The fear of punishment looms over every thought, every idea, every whisper of dissent, or threatened, like a shock to your nervous system. Imagine the fear that grips you every time an unconventional idea crosses your mind, knowing that at any moment, you could be subjected to unbearable pain. The shock is not just physical, it's a brutal reminder that your thoughts are not safe. The nervous system, a complex network of nerves and cells, becomes a battleground where your freedom is constantly under siege. The pain is a tool of control, a way to keep you in line, to ensure that you never stray from the accepted norms. The constant threat of pain keeps you in a state of perpetual anxiety, always second-guessing your own thoughts. You could get an excruciating jolt at the pleasure of anyone who judges your thoughts and has the power to enact damage to your psyche, even if it's just for their own enjoyment. Terrorist? Criminal? Rebel? These labels are easily applied to anyone who dares to think differently. The authority figures, shrouded in darkness and wielding their power with impunity, take pleasure in your suffering. They administer punishment not just to maintain order, but to instill fear, to break your spirit, to make you question your very sanity. The interrogation room, with its harsh lighting and oppressive atmosphere, becomes a place of nightmares, where every word, every thought, is a potential weapon against you. The relentless questioning, the psychological torment, all serve to erode your sense of self, to make you doubt your own mind. Well, it depends on who's listening to your thoughts. In this world, privacy is an illusion. Surveillance cameras are everywhere, capturing your every move, your every expression. Hidden microphones pick up your whispers, your secrets. Eavesdroppers lurk in the shadows, ready to pounce on any sign of dissent. Your thoughts are not your own. They belong to the state, to the authority that watches over you with an unblinking eye. The fear of being overheard, of being judged, of being punished, is a constant presence in your life. You learn to censor yourself, to suppress your true feelings, to become a shadow of your former self. In this world, survival means sacrificing your individuality, your creativity, your humanity. It means living in a state of perpetual fear, always looking over your shoulder, always wondering who's listening, who's watching, who's waiting to punish you for daring to think. The omnipresent surveillance creates an environment where trust is eroded and paranoia becomes the norm. The constant vigilance required to navigate this world leaves you exhausted, drained, and disconnected from your own identity. If authorities, or worse, criminals, could monitor not just actions but also intentions, it would be the end of free thought as we know it. How could perspectives and ideas that could have been shared?
They do things like broadcast quiet, whispering voices into a room in an ominous way that the words cloud you in the hypnotic resonances of an enemy you can't escape. Or any device connected to the internet or radio waves and blend with laughing or applause, preventing you from enjoying any therapy.
Imagine being subjected to a relentless barrage of your least favorite songs, the ones that make your skin crawl and your mind beg for silence. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. No, it's about knowing every fear, insecurity, and worry that creeps through a person's mind before they even act on it. Picture a scenario where your deepest anxieties are laid bare, exposed to those who would exploit them. It's not just about knowing what scares you. It's about understanding the intricate web of your thoughts and emotions and using that knowledge to manipulate you. This would be like the ultimate mind game, where gang stalkers, or worse, rogue officials, could anticipate your thoughts and use them against you. Imagine walking down the street, feeling the eyes of unseen watchers on you, knowing that they are always one step ahead. They know your routines, your habits, and your vulnerabilities. They can predict your moves and counter them before you even make them. They'd know when you're stressed and amplify it. Every time you feel a twinge of anxiety, they would be there to turn it into a full-blown panic attack. They would exploit your stressors, making sure you never find a moment of peace. Your mind would become a battlefield with no respite from the constant assault. They'd know what you're afraid of and push those buttons. Every phobia, every irrational fear would be weaponized against you. They would create scenarios that play out your worst nightmares, leaving you in a perpetual state of fear. It's not just about physical threats. It's about the psychological terror that comes from knowing someone has the power to manipulate your mind. It's like psychological waterboarding, except with mind tricks instead of water. The sensation of drowning is replaced by the suffocating weight of mental anguish. Your thoughts become a prison, with no escape from the relentless torment. It's a form of torture that leaves no physical scars, but can be just as devastating. If this were happening in real life, it would qualify as psychological torture under international law. The impact on the victim's mental health would be profound, leading to long-term psychological damage. The sense of isolation and helplessness would be overwhelming, as the victim struggles to find a way out of the mental maze. Torture is prohibited by the United Nations Convention Against Torture, and for good reason. The international community recognizes the profound harm that torture inflicts on individuals and societies. Psychological torture, though less visible than physical torture, is no less damaging. It erodes the very fabric of a person's identity, leaving them a shadow of their former self. You can't just crack open someone's skull and read their mind unless you're in some dystopian sci-fi movie. But the technology to invade our thoughts is not as far-fetched as it once seemed. Advances in neuroscience and artificial intelligence are bringing us closer to a world where our innermost thoughts could be accessed and manipulated. The ethical implications of such technology are profound, raising questions about privacy, consent, and the very nature of human autonomy. Imagine a future where brainwave patterns can be decoded, where neural interfaces allow for direct communication between minds. The potential for abuse is staggering. In the wrong hands, this technology could be used to control, manipulate, and dominate individuals on an unprecedented scale. The age of mind games is not just a hypothetical scenario. It's a looming reality that we must confront. As we stand on the brink of this new era, it's crucial that we establish safeguards to protect our mental privacy. Laws and regulations must evolve to address the unique challenges posed by these emerging technologies. Public awareness and advocacy are essential to ensure that our minds remain our own, free from unwanted intrusion and manipulation. In the end, the battle for our minds is a battle for our humanity. We must cherish and protect the sanctity of our thoughts, for they are the essence of who we are. The age of mind games may be upon us, but with vigilance and determination, we can navigate this new frontier with our integrity intact. Let's say law enforcement or criminal groups get access to this tech. Imagine a world where your innermost thoughts are no longer private. Every fleeting idea, every moment of doubt, every secret wish, exposed. This isn't just about privacy, it's about the very essence of what makes us human. Now, not only can they hear your thoughts, they can also predict your next move. This technology, while groundbreaking, opens a Pandora's box of ethical dilemmas. What happens when your thoughts are no longer your own? When every decision you make is anticipated and scrutinized? You could be thinking about a protest and suddenly you're targeted as a threat despite the fact you haven't done anything wrong. It's a pre-crime nightmare. Imagine the chilling effect this would have on free speech and assembly. People would be too afraid to even think about dissent, let alone act on it. But here's the catch. If law enforcement is using this tech, we're heading into totalitarian territory. The very fabric of our democratic society is at risk. The balance of power shifts dramatically when the state can monitor and control thoughts. This isn't just a slippery slope, it's a free fall into authoritarianism. Think about it. You could be arrested for your thoughts. The concept of thought crime becomes a terrifying reality. Imagine being detained, interrogated, and punished for something you never acted upon. The psychological toll would be immense, creating a society living in constant fear. You didn't commit a crime, but you thought about it. This flips the entire justice system on its head. The presumption of innocence is obliterated. Instead of being judged for actions, people are judged for their potential to act, leading to a world where everyone is a suspect. According to legal precedent, the presumption of innocence, aka innocent until proven guilty, is what separates us from a police state. This principle is foundational to our legal system. Without it, the scales of justice are tipped irreversibly towards oppression. The courtroom becomes a place of fear rather than fairness. If authorities use technology to know your thoughts, that totally undermines the very concept of justice. The ethical implications are staggering. How do we ensure that such technology is not abused? Who watches the watchers? The potential for misuse is enormous, and the consequences could be catastrophic. History has shown us time and again that the fight for freedom is never ending. From civil rights movements to revolutions, people have always resisted oppression. This new technology could be the next battleground. It's crucial that we remain vigilant and protect our fundamental rights. The conversation around this technology needs to be inclusive and ongoing. We must engage with ethicists, technologists, lawmakers, and the public to navigate these uncharted waters. Only through collective effort can we hope to find a balance between innovation and human rights. While the worst-case scenario is daunting, it's not inevitable. By fostering open dialogue and setting strict ethical guidelines, we can harness the benefits of this technology without sacrificing our humanity. The future is in our hands, and it's up to us to shape it wisely.
Freedom of thought and privacy are fundamental human rights, and nobody should have the right to violate them, not even in the name of security or control.
Let's say law enforcement or criminal groups get access to this tech. Imagine a world where your innermost thoughts are no longer private. Every fleeting idea, every moment of doubt, every secret wish exposed. This technology could be a double-edged sword wielded by those in power to maintain control or by criminal organizations to exploit vulnerabilities. Now, not only can they hear your thoughts, they can also predict your next move. This predictive capability could be used to preemptively stop crimes, but at what cost? The line between safety and surveillance becomes dangerously blurred. Imagine living in a world where your every action is anticipated, where spontaneity is a thing of the past. You could be thinking about a protest and suddenly you're targeted as a threat, despite the fact you haven't done anything wrong. It's a pre-crime nightmare. Peaceful dissent could be crushed before it even begins. The mere thought of opposing the status quo could land you in hot water, making free speech and civil liberties relics of a bygone era. But here's the catch. If law enforcement is using this tech, we're heading into totalitarian territory. The power to read and predict thoughts could be the ultimate tool for an authoritarian regime. Imagine a society where the government knows your every thought, where dissent is not just punished, but preemptively eradicated. The chilling effect on free thought and expression would be profound. Think about it. You could be arrested for your thoughts. The concept of thought crime becomes a terrifying reality. You didn't commit a crime, but you thought about it. This could lead to a society where fear of thinking the wrong thing stifles creativity, innovation, and personal growth. You didn't commit a crime, but you thought about it. This could lead to a society where fear of thinking the wrong thing stifles creativity, innovation, and personal growth. The psychological impact of knowing that your thoughts are being monitored could be devastating, leading to widespread paranoia and anxiety. According to legal precedent, the presumption of innocence, also known as innocent until proven guilty, is what separates us from a police state. This fundamental principle of justice ensures that individuals are not punished for crimes they did not commit. However, if thoughts become criminalized, this principle is turned on its head. The burden of proof shifts, and the very foundation of our legal system is undermined. If authorities use technology to know your thoughts, that totally undermines the very concept of justice. The right to privacy, a cornerstone of human rights, is eroded. The implications for democracy are dire. A society where thoughts are policed is one where freedom is an illusion. The potential for abuse is enormous, and the consequences for individual liberty are profound. We must carefully consider the ethical implications of such technology and strive to protect the fundamental rights that define our humanity. Now let's talk about the gang stalking crowd. This phenomenon is not just a figment of the imagination, it's a real and terrifying experience for those who find themselves targeted. Imagine walking through a bustling city, surrounded by people, yet feeling utterly alone because you know some of these individuals are not just passers-by. They are part of a coordinated effort to make you feel unsafe. These are the folks who already think they can stalk, harass, and terrorize you in real life. They follow you, invade your personal space, and make you constantly look over your shoulder. The feeling of being watched and followed is relentless, and it's designed to break you down mentally and emotionally. Tactics like street theater, where words you've been conditioned to recognize and understand also unwillingly tune in to now that the brain has recognized these triggers as an imminent threat to life, are used in combination with proximity and aggression to add to the threat. These staged scenarios are meticulously planned to make you feel like you're losing your grip on reality. This triggers a person to feel the threat could be anyone, and their life is constantly in danger. The fear becomes all-encompassing, making it difficult to trust anyone or feel safe anywhere. Every stranger becomes a potential threat, and every public space turns into a minefield of anxiety. A couple or a group of people will be told to have an argument or conversation using these dog whistles to attack a person and force a reaction. Either accept you're powerless or defend yourself the best way possible. These arguments are not random. They are carefully crafted to include specific phrases and words that have been conditioned to trigger a response in the target. Imagine how much worse it gets when they have access to your internal world. They know your fears, your anxieties, and your vulnerabilities. They exploit this knowledge to maximize the psychological torment. It's not just about making you feel unsafe in the physical world. It's about invading your mind and making you feel like there's no escape. They would have everything they need to keep up the harassment, knowing exactly when you're vulnerable, when you're anxious, or even when you're alone. Your home, which should be a sanctuary, becomes another arena for their psychological games. The sense of isolation and helplessness is overwhelming. This isn't just annoying, it's mentally torturous. The constant barrage of psychological attacks wears down your mental defenses, leaving you feeling exhausted and defeated. The stress and anxiety can lead to severe mental health issues, including depression and PTSD. They can act like puppeteers, pulling your strings every time you get even a hint of anxiety. They manipulate your emotions and reactions, making you feel like you have no control over your own life. The sense of powerlessness is crushing, and it's exactly what they want you to feel. The psychological damage would be immeasurable, and it would be considered a form of torture, both by law and by common sense. The long-term effects of such sustained psychological abuse can be devastating, affecting every aspect of your life. It's a cruel and inhumane practice that leaves deep, lasting scars on its victims. Seeking help becomes a necessity, but even that can be fraught with challenges. The fear of not being believed or being labeled as paranoid can prevent victims from reaching out. However, it's crucial to find a support system, whether it's through therapy, support groups, or trusted friends and family. Support groups can be particularly helpful as they provide a space where victims can share their experiences and find solace in knowing they are not alone. These groups can offer practical advice and emotional support, helping victims to rebuild their lives and regain a sense of control. Mindfulness and meditation can also be powerful tools in combating the effects of gang stalking. These practices help to center the mind, reduce anxiety, and build mental resilience. By focusing on the present moment, victims can find a sense of peace and stability amidst the chaos. Engaging in hobbies and activities that bring joy and fulfillment can also be a form of self-care. Whether it's painting, gardening, or any other activity, these moments of joy can provide a much-needed respite from the constant stress and anxiety. Setting boundaries is another important step. It's essential to reclaim your personal space and assert your right to feel safe. This might involve changing routines, avoiding certain places, or even seeking legal protection if necessary. Despite the challenges, it's important to hold on to hope. Recovery is possible, and with the right support and strategies, victims can reclaim their lives. The journey may be long and difficult, but every step forward is a victory. In conclusion, gang stalking is a severe and insidious form of psychological abuse that can have devastating effects on its victims. It's a violation of basic human rights and dignity. But by raising awareness, seeking support, and employing coping strategies, victims can fight back and reclaim their lives. Remember, you are not alone, and there is help available.
Look, if you're out there trying to read my thoughts, congratulations. You're the real-life version of a creepy stalker with a superpower. But hey, while you're listening to my brain, I'll just be over here doing life.
They thrive on shadows, anonymity, and the thrill of causing discomfort. The anonymity gives them a sense of power, but it's a false sense of security. They hide in the shadows, thinking they're untouchable, but their actions reveal their true nature. But here's the kicker. Mockery can really take the wind out of their sails. When you laugh at their antics, you strip away the power they think they have. It's like shining a light on a shadow, it disappears. By laughing at these antics, we strip away that illusion of control. Laughter is a powerful tool. It can break the chains of fear and anxiety, and it can turn the tables on those who seek to control through intimidation. They ain't supervillains, they're folks who never quite outgrew their high school bully phase. They're stuck in a mindset where they think causing discomfort makes them powerful. But in reality, it just makes them look foolish. So next time you hear about gang stalking tactics, remember, it's just a bunch of grown-ups playing the world's lamest game of hide and seek. It's a sad attempt to feel important, but it's really just a childish game that's not worth your time or energy. And that, my friends, is the absurdity of gang stalking. It's a bizarre mix of paranoia, juvenile tactics, and a desperate need for control. But at the end of the day, it's just a sad reflection of the perp's own insecurities. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and don't forget to laugh a little. Laughter is your best defense against these tactics. It keeps you grounded and reminds you that you have the power to rise above the nonsense. It's the best way to beat the bullies.
In the end, if this kind of technology ever became mainstream, whether in the hands of criminals or authorities, we would face massive violations of personal freedom and privacy. And while we can joke about it, the implications are very real.
Thanks for watching. Remember, you're stronger than you think, and a little laughter can go a long way in keeping the bullies at bay. If you like this, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Stay safe, stay strong, and keep laughing.